Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burn the Ship. I have a new friend of mine here, Mellanie. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Looking forward to hearing your story and learning more about your business. This is the podcast, as always, where our goal is to connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We want to bring stories to you. We want to bring experience to you that can really show you how to overcome obstacles as you're creating your small business. So thank you for being here today. Don't want to steal any of your thunder. Why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are and what you do?
All right. My name is Mellanie Cain, and I am a lymphatic therapist. And I provide a unique therapy that combines light, sound, and microcurrent to decongest the lymphatic system. And the reason I do that is so my clients can live with less pain and inflammation.
Sure. So tell me a little bit of a story of how you got into doing what you're doing. How did you kind of get this background, and how did you kind of convert that into the small business?
I, well, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 27 years. I'm currently a pediatric nurse. But in my nursing career, I became a little bit disheartened because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Since the time I was like in the third grade, I wanted to be a nurse. And so I was actually, like I said, disheartened about it because I didn't realize there was so much paperwork, and I was pushing meds, pushing pills, managing people's sickness, and I didn't seem to be like doing what I wanted to do, giving that compassion to heal people, to help people, not just like I said, managing their sickness. So I didn't like the way the Western medicine was going, and I checked into lymphatic therapy, and I loved what I heard. Took some classes, did some training, got licensed, certified, and did my history on where to set up at, what would be best to set up at. This is my second location. I've been here for 2 years, and I called the bank, got a loan for my equipment, got the best state of the art stuff there is, and here I am.
Cool. So where is your business headed today? You know, how what are kind of you guys operating at? Is it just you still?
It's just me. Yes,
Okay, cool.
just me. Yep, that's it.
And so you're
I'm
focused
in a
on still
chiropractic
adding
office.
those you're still focused on really adding those clients, growing that client base.
Yes,
Sure.
yes, I
And
am.
where are you located?
Ennis, Texas,
Oh, cool.
109 Northwest Main Street.
Cool. Well, that is exciting, my friend. And that goes to show that, hey, for all the people out there that are kicking around this idea of small business, that you can do it alone. You know, if you need to, you have. I'm sure you've had those people that have mentored, helped you, kind of pointed you in the
Oh
right
yes.
direction. Um, but once you really kind of cement those processes, it's very capable to run a very successful small business just as a one
Yeah.
man shop. So tell me a little bit about the actual therapy. Like, what does that service look like? What are people actually was happening to them that is helping them be healed?
Ah, okay. I like I said, I provide lymphatic therapy, and your lymphatic system flows throughout your body. It's what I call the garbage system, the river of life, the recycling system, even if you will. And it pulls out viruses, toxins, bacteria, and even cancer cells. So when those things become stagnant, people come to me. They come to me with issues like swelling, sinus issues. They want to detox. In our society today, we take in a lot of toxins. So, they come to me. I have some wands that I use that Pyrex wands that are filled with gas, and I gently wave those over the client, touching them, of course, and move the lymph system. It is actually 15 to 20 times more effective than manually doing it, although I do some manual lymphatic therapy as well. And when they leave, they feel lighter. Typically, they tell me that they sleep really well that night. It's very relaxing. Um, it's just great. As long as they drink enough water afterwards, everything's cool.
Sure, sure. So the lymph nodes is what I understand is kind of the transporters of your body, right?
Yeah,
So it's what
yeah.
kind of moves
They're
everything
like a
around.
filter. You know, what I like to tell clients is when you're getting lymphatic therapy, think of it like this. If you go to the dentist regularly, you should get your lymphatic system, checked regularly. If you change the aquarium filter, and if you don't, your fish die, right? Okay. So our lymphatic system is very important. If we don't exercise enough, if we don't deep breathe, then we don't move it.
Right.
And so that's how it moves. It doesn't have a pump of its own.
Sure.
So you have to exercise and deep breathe. And now I'm not talking about just shallow breathing like most of us do all day long. Deep breathing.
Sure.
So, with that in mind, they come in and they have a relaxing session. And when they leave, I follow up with them to make sure that they're doing okay and how they like the session. And I get good results.
Sure. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Tell me a little about kind of what it's been like to be a business owner. So were you doing this somewhere before you started doing it on your own, or have you always kind of done it on your own once you got the certification?
No, I've always done it on my own. And to be honest, I know what I'm doing. I'm good at it, and I was good at being a nurse. Now I've just kind of integrated both of those. But as far as owning a business, I knew nothing about it. So I've kind of had to learn as I go. And there are people that I call and I say, hey, what do you do about this? Hey, what do you think about that? And so a support system is very good.
Sure.
If you know bookkeepers, people that are already in business for themselves, just someone that you can call and say, hey, what do you think about this?
Sure.
Is this okay?
Sure.
And I've done that, and it's worked well.
What has, kind of day one of your business, what did it look like kind of growing that client base? What helped you be able to do that?
Mostly word of mouth.
Oh, wow.
Mostly. But yeah, but I do publish on Facebook, and I have 2 Facebook pages. I have Instagram, LinkedIn, and so I do that. I've published in a couple of the local magazines that we have here, but yeah, mostly word of mouth has been my
sure
where my client base is.
What would you think has been that biggest struggle since you've been your own business owner? What do you think was kind of the biggest learning curve for you there?
That's a good question. I'm at the same respect, I'm going to say drawing people in, letting people know what it is that I do. Mm-hmm. Most people don't know what lymphatic therapy is. Mm-hmm. They don't know what lymphatic drainage is. And if you say, hey, have you seen Mellanie Cain? They'll be like, I know who she is, but I don't understand what she does. So educating the basic client on what it is, that's been a big struggle.
Sure. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And that's probably impacted your marketing a lot, is understanding, hey, a lot of people aren't going to immediately recognize this terminology that I use to describe my product. So I have to find a way to put that messaging out there to the right people. So that makes a lot of sense. So what would you think that you've done really well? What's kind of been one of your strengths since you started your business?
I'm very good at noticing when things are not correct, when things aren't right. And it's my nursing background that does that, But also, as far as just getting clients in, dealing with the business aspect of it, I'm going to say follow up. I'm very good about following up. When they come in, we do an initial consult, and I make sure they're a good fit for the therapy. And then after it's over, I go over with them what I have done, and then I follow up, and let them ask any questions that they have to ask, or make a new appointment, whatever. Just that constant follow up.
Sure. Well, that makes a lot of sense. That's really a key to a successful business, is really making the most out of the exposure and client base that you already have. That's something that I find kind of recursively with some of the people that I talk to on the podcast, is that as a small business, without that fundamental follow-up process, whether it's a strength or a weakness of yours, it's difficult to scale, and you have to scale to a certain position to even be profitable. You know what I mean? Especially when you have equipment like your industry requires. There's a certain margin there that you need to be able to hit to kind of make your money back. So that makes a lot of sense. It's a good strength to have. I'm glad that you kind of possess that. Tell me a little bit about kind of what your business has done differently. So, I'm sure that there is some type of competition, specifically in the lymphatic therapy space, as well as just general non-conventional healthcare in general. There are uh, how do I say there's just an eye or a view from the public about some of these products that, hey, this is Eastern medicine, or we don't know if this is really real, or this is, woo saw type of heal yourself. So tell me a little bit about how you've kind of combated the, just the perspective of, naturopathic healing versus what people understand about regular healthcare.
I just try to educate them. There are a lot of studies, and if they ask me a question, I'll say, "Hey, just Google um, phototherapy and eczema, for example, and you'll just come up with all kinds of information." So I just basically it has been a little bit of a struggle, like you say, but I basically just talk to them about all of the research that's out there. Like, for example, the UT team, University of Texas, they have information on PubMed.gov where they have done a lot of research. And so, I can point them in that direction. Um, I can point them to the website where I get the equipment from, and they can look at all of the research that they have on it.
Sure.
Basically, that's it. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand, but when you think about wellness, most physicians either medicate it, cut it out, or radiate it, or we're not trying to actually heal people. And so that's the difference. So you either spend the money on something like what I do, or you can spend it on a hospital bill, or
Sure.
doctor bill.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And tell me a little bit about kind of as you've grown to understand more about your business, have you kind of developed a more diverse network of other local business owners?
Yeah, I have. I joined the Chamber of
Oh,
Commerce here
good.
in Ennis. Yeah, so I've met several people that way. Um, Facebook, I'm on some of the Ennis Facebook pages. Met a lot of people, here in the community. You know.
Sure. Well, that's exciting, my friend. I'm telling you, I think your business is in a really good place. You have a good understanding of your product. You have a good understanding of what you're really good at, and what you're getting better at every day. So that is exciting. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing where your business is in a couple of years. How do people in the audience get a hold of you if they want to chat with you?
Ah, okay. So I have a website, and it is tiny.cc/NBLH for Natural Balance Lymphatic Healing. That's the name of my business. And also, I'm at 109 Northwest Main in Ennis, Texas. I have a Facebook page, and if you go to Facebook and you just Google @lymphatic nurse, it will pull me up.
Sure. Wow. You got a good handle. Must have got that one early. Well, that's pretty good. And then tell me just kind of, bring yourself back to the start of your business. I want you to tell me, kind of summarize what it felt like when you were kicking around that idea of not being healthy in the nursing world and thinking, hey, I really want to go all in on my business. Just summarize, what it felt like to be on the way to going all in on your business. And then once you kind of flipped that switch and said, hey, I'm going all in, I'm going to do it, I'm going to conquer these things versus where you are now. Kind of just describe how you felt throughout that whole process, because a lot of our audience is kind of kicking a lot of those same ideas around.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
in those corporate positions, or they're in a small business position where they feel like they can be their own boss and create their own
Mm-hmm.
wealth, create their own product, and be their own person and their own brand. Just
Right.
tell me how it feels to go through that process in those days.
Well, I mean, now I feel like I have spread my wings, you know. So that's great. But yeah, at first I did a lot of research. I found the best schools to go to, who had tuition uh, discounts, you know, uh, I called the bank, trying to set up payments, and
Hmm.
low interest and all that. I did my homework first, and then I talked to a couple of people about where I wanted to set up at, you know, and did a lot of prayer, and making sure this is what I really needed to do because I really wanted to. It just felt right, So I would say if it feels right and you have done your homework on it, take that leap.
Yeah, and have
really
some
worth
faith in yourself. That's a big part of small business as well is you got to have a little bit of faith. There's going to be days earlier where the bank account is running low or you're having a problem with a piece of equipment or an employee doesn't show up to work and you're going to have to weather those storms, and it builds a type of mental resilience, I think, in the business world that is very valuable to all aspects of life. So tell me, just to kind of sum it up here, how has owning a business impacted your life? How has it changed you? How has it made you think different?
Well, I love helping people. It's what I've always wanted to do. I have the gift of compassion. And so I think everything I do now involves the lymphatic therapy, honestly. It's given me extra money, of course. It's allowed me to have extra time with my grandchildren and my family. And I know that sounds funny because you're thinking, when you run a business, you must be there all the time, but you set your own schedule. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, I think I provide a unique business, and it's just gone well.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for you, my friend. I'm glad to have made your introduction today. I'm glad to have introduced you to our audience. We're going to get this out to as many people as we can. We're going to get it over to you so that you can use it to kind of promote to your network as well. And I'm kind of the same as you. My whole my entire thought process is about how do we bring value to people in small business? How do we help people? How do we make it easier for them to overcome the things that we're all overcoming in the business world, especially over the last couple of years? So I appreciate you coming and spending some time with me. Hopefully there's some value in this podcast and some value in our network as well for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. As always, this has been Burn the Ship.